We're dealing with interest rates, we're dealing with inflation. It's a pivotal time in the housing market and things are starting to shift. A lot of you are at home wondering, is it still a good time to buy or sell a home? Whether you're a buyer or a seller, you're going to want to stick around today. We're going to break down all of the predictions coming right up. Hello Central Maine, it is your realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty, and today, like I said, we're going to break down some of the most recent predictions on what's going to happen in the housing market. We know there's been skyrocketing inflation, we know that rates are going up. Where are they going to stop? We're going to talk about that. What's going to be happening with the housing prices? A lot of people are predicting the prices could go down. Is that true? Well, let's see what the experts think. Now, before we get into that, I do want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here before, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly in the Central Maine market. If that's of interest to you or adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, or of course, if you just like real estate, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the like button on this video, hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell. You'll be notified every time we put out new content. Right, the first thing I want to address is interest rates. A lot of people are asking, when are we going to see the peak? Have we seen the peak on the interest rates? Well, the real answer is we just don't know, and here's why. The reason that the Federal Reserve keeps raising the interest rates is because inflation continues to rise. So they are directly tied together. As long as inflation continues, so are the interest rate hikes. Interest is going to continue to go up as long as inflation goes up, because obviously the purpose of raising the rates is try to hedge back the risk in the marketplace and bring that inflation back in, bring it back down. Now, this is something that you're going to want to think about if you're buying or even if you're selling, because it's going to affect the marketplace. If you're a buyer in the market and the rates are going up, it's going to affect the affordability factor as far as the homes that you're looking at. And that's why it's just really important that you surround yourself with a team of professionals. Not just real estate agents, but your mortgage lender is going to be a key person in your process here. If you have an investment advisor, if you're getting into investment properties, or you're just looking at tax repercussions and things like that, these are all people that you want to have around you as part of your team if you are in the market buying and selling, depending on your situations. As far as the rates go, we just don't know that we've seen the peak yet. I don't think we have, frankly, to be honest. If you look around, it looks like the inflation is probably going to continue at least for a little bit more, but we've seen the interest rates go up about 2 points this year already. Where it goes, we don't know, but keep that in mind, because if you are looking to buy right now and you are looking to get into market, when we start talking about inventory, you might realize this could be a good time, particularly because buying now is going to hedge you against the future rate hikes. All right, so let's talk about the impact on inventory about what's going on here. Housing inventory. Remember, over the last year, we saw it sometimes even less than half of a month of supply on the market. We saw last month, we had just shy of 1 month. We saw a big increase in the inventory. Now, some of that, it's true, is because there are more sellers that are coming to the market and putting their homes for sale. But also, we know with the rising interest rates, we've lessened buyer demand. We saw in the last video I did here the lessening of buyer traffic into the homes and the lessening of the buyer sales of the homes as well. So we know that buyer demand has gone down a bit. Homes are sitting for usually a few weeks now rather than just a few days, and that's increasing the overall supply. Now, that's really great news for you buyers, because up until this point, it's been very difficult to even go out and see if there are homes that you want to buy, see if there are homes that you like, because when there's an average shelf life of a home of a few days, it's just very difficult to get out there. With the longer market times, with the increase of inventory, it's causing a little bit more breathing room for the buyers in the market to go out and actually look at the homes, think about their decisions, and start negotiations with the sellers. Now, an interesting fact that I want to show you here, just take a look at this graph. The original housing forecast as far as growth of inventory coming into 2022 was 0.3%. So the experts were just not expecting a lot of homes to come onto the market. Coming into the later summer here, you can see the experts have now changed the forecast and expecting a 15% increase in inventory. Frankly, I think that's good news all around when you think about what the market has been like, and that should actually bring more buyers back into the market. And that's what I'm seeing here in my local market. I realize this is just anecdotal. The numbers may not even back this up, but my personal experience here in Central Maine and talking to other agents is that I have, for the first time in a while, a lot of buyers giving me a call, a lot of buyers coming into the market, coming back to the market, that have been either discouraged or just got worn out from that early spring market and over the last year. Now going back to normal pre-pandemic activity, they're jumping back in and realizing that they can get their feet wet and maybe have a little bit better experience than they would have had over the last 12 to 24 months. The last thing I want to cover here is a prediction on home pricing. Both buyers and sellers are reaching out and wondering what the heck is going on. Are we going to see a crash? Do we need to move right now? What's happening with the prices? Well, all predictions out there have good news for the sellers and frankly probably some good news for the buyers too. With the increase of interest rates, with the inflation that we're seeing, the appreciation trends that we've seen over the last couple of years of double digits, just simply not sustainable, right? Because the affordability is going down for a lot of the buyers that are in the market. But that doesn't really mean that the prices are going down. What we are expecting is that the appreciation that's happening is going to slow. That price growth is going to slow way down from double digits down to about 2 or 3%. If you take a look at this graph, you can see that here, where we've been, where we're projecting to go. Oddly enough, this does line up with something that we've been predicting here on this channel for quite a long time, as we've been hearing about the housing market crash, about a potential crash that's going to happen. When we came into this year on the front end and people were wondering, I think Goldman Sachs and Zillow were expecting more of those double-digit increase. Our predictions were a little bit more moderate here. I don't know that they were as low as 2 or 3%. I personally thought it was going to be a little bit higher than that. But all things considered, if you're an investor, if you're a home owner and you're buying a home, it does look like your home's values are still going to be on the increase over the coming years. And if you're a buyer, good to know that prices are going to continue to creep up. They're just not going to be creeping up at the pace that they have been over the last couple of years. Now that's really it for this video. We talked a little bit about what we think may or may not happen with the interest rates, what's going on tied to inflation, the affordability of the homes, what's happening with inventory on the homes. And you know, one of the things I want to repeat here that we've talked about before, regardless of any of the statistics that are happening here, what you need to decide is it a good time for you personally to buy or sell your home? Because everybody's life scenarios are different. I can sit here behind the camera and talk about, you know, all of the numbers on paper. But what I can't always speak to is your personal circumstances. At the end of the day, what you want to ask yourself is this the right time in my life to sell the home? Is this the right time in my life to buy a home? And if the answer of those is no, then it's just not the right time for you. If the answer is yes, then frankly, none of these other things matter. It's time to jump in and buy or sell your home. The final factor is always going to rely on what you're going through in your personal circumstances of life. You should never feel pressured either way based on statistics that you're seeing in the news or that are being broken down on some realtor's YouTube channel. It's really about you and what's best for you. Now, if you are in the market or if you're thinking about jumping into the market, I'd love to hear what your experience is. Go ahead and drop a comment below. Also, if you are just looking for some advice, if you're looking for a professional that you want to hook up with, if you need a realtor looking to buy or sell a home, reach out to me. Give me a call. My information, as always, is going to be linked down in the post and you can get a hold of me. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video, guys. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.